Most of us walk through life with a very comfortable assumption. We observe the world, weigh the facts, and make logical decisions. We like to think we are the rational captains of our own ship, even when the data starts to shift right before our eyes. But the truth is much messier. Beneath that logical surface is a fragile, demanding mechanism that dictates almost everything we do: the human ego. Our desperate need to protect our self-image regularly overrides objective reality. The psychologist Carl Jung identified a major component of this dynamic. He called it the shadow self, the hidden, ugly parts of our personality, like our deep insecurities and fears that we actively suppress to look capable to ourselves and others. Keeping those flaws buried takes massive amounts of mental energy. We are constantly patching up our armor, terrified that someone will notice the cracks. Because we are so distracted by this obsessive need to protect our fragile self-image, our actual psychological defenses are left unguarded. We build a permanent, hidden backdoor into our own minds. While most people remain unaware of this psychological vulnerability, certain personality types recognize it as a specific opportunity for influence. Psychologists categorize these individuals under the dark triad. This is a toxic psychological profile where an inflated sense of narcissism, a total lack of empathy, and high-level manipulation, or Machiavellianism, all converge in a single person. Whether they are a romantic partner or a historical dictator, these predators do not overpower you with brute force. They use your own desperate need for validation as a Trojan horse. This process follows a predictable, mechanical sequence of psychological warfare. The attack always begins with phase 1, the hook. To bypass your normal skepticism, the manipulator must first manufacture a profound sense of trust. They rapidly deploy love bombing. In the earliest stages of the relationship, they aggressively inflate your ego, showering you with excessive praise, attention, and relentless affection. To make this validation feel authentic, they use a technique called mirroring. The manipulator carefully studies you, quickly adopting your traits, matching your interests, and echoing your beliefs. They construct themselves to be the perfect reflection of how you want to be seen. Once you become dependent on that validation, phase 2 begins, the fracture. The constant praise is abruptly yanked away, and the manipulator begins deliberately dismantling your sense of security. A common weapon here is triangulation. This involves introducing a third party into the dynamic, an ex-partner, a coworker, or a fabricated admirer. It is engineered entirely to spark jealousy, paranoia, and desperate competition for the manipulator's approval. By this point, the victim is entirely disoriented. Their ego is starved, leaving them completely reliant on the manipulator to step back in and restore their shattered sense of worth. This sets the stage for phase 3, the hijack. The abuse escalates from manipulating your emotions to actively attacking your grip on reality. This is the core function of gaslighting. It is the aggressive, systematic denial of undeniable facts. The objective is never a simple disagreement over events. The goal is to wear you down until you actively doubt your own memory and sever trust in your physical senses. This tactic shares deep roots with classical political strategy. Absolute control over a narrative quickly translates into absolute power over a person. This mechanism moves from individual relationships into broader power structures. Historical case studies of cult leaders and dictators show how they target the collective ego of a group, using mass gaslighting to isolate entire populations from the truth. The result is terrifying. A highly manipulated target will look at hard evidence, ignore what their own eyes are telling them, and choose to trust the fabricated reality handed to them by their abuser. Which brings us to the hardest question of all. When the situation becomes overtly dark and contradictory, why doesn't a rational person simply stand up and walk away? The psychologist Leon Festinger outlined the answer in his theory of cognitive dissonance. This theory describes the intense mental friction that happens when a person is forced to hold two completely contradictory beliefs at the exact same time. For the victim, escaping the trap requires a brutal admission. To acknowledge they have been manipulated, they must accept that their ego was foolish, deeply vulnerable, and profoundly wrong about someone they trusted. Most people cannot stomach that kind of pain. To protect its fragile self-image from complete collapse, the human brain takes the path of least resistance. It literally overrides logic, convincing itself that the manipulator's lies are actually the truth. The victim's own ego becomes their internal warden, actively maintaining the lie to prevent the pain of self-reflection. Because dark manipulation relies on the mechanical exploitation of human nature, you can build systematic defenses against it. The answer is never trying to outsmart a dark triad personality. Engaging in their games, arguing over facts, or trying to prove them wrong only feeds them the attention they crave and plays directly into their framework. The true defense is closing the back door. That means doing the uncomfortable work of mastering your own ego. You have to willingly integrate those messy, hidden truths of your shadow self, so they can never be used as leverage against you. Immunity to manipulation requires becoming fiercely comfortable with harsh truths. By refusing to seek shelter in comfortable lies, you remove the manipulator's primary point of leverage.